Have you ever wondered how the 1948 Arab-Israeli War shaped the territorial divisions in the Palestinian territories? This pivotal conflict not only left an indelible mark on the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East, but also set the stage for the post-war territorial divisions. In the aftermath of the war, Jordan assumed control of the West Bank, while Egypt took over the administration of the Gaza Strip. Intrigued? Dive in as we explore this pivotal period in history. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War, often referred to as the War of Independence or Nakba, was a significant event in Middle Eastern history. This war, a culmination of escalating tensions, was fueled by a complex mix of religious, political, and territorial disputes that have their roots in centuries past. But let's take a step back and look at the events that led up to this pivotal conflict. In the mid-20th century, the United Nations proposed a partition plan to tackle the ongoing Jewish-Arab conflict in Palestine. The plan, adopted on November 29, 1947, sought to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international administration. This proposal was a response to the increasing immigration of Jews fleeing persecution in Europe and the growing tensions between Jewish immigrants and the Arab population in Palestine. The Jewish Agency for Palestine accepted the partition plan. They saw it as a realization of the long-held Jewish dream of establishing a homeland in the land of their ancestors. However, this plan did not sit well with the Arab states. They saw the partition as an imposition by foreign powers and a betrayal of the Arab majority's right to self-determination. The Arab League, a regional organization of Arab states, vehemently rejected the UN partition plan. They argued that it violated the principles of national self-determination, which were outlined in the United Nations Charter, and that it was heavily biased in favor of the Jews. The rejection of the partition plan by the Arab states was not a mere diplomatic protest. It set the stage for military intervention. On the 15th of May, 1948, the day after the establishment of the State of Israel, 5 Arab states, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria, launched a military campaign against the nascent Jewish state. This marked the onset of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. This rejection led to the war that would dramatically change the Palestinian territories. A war that would not only redraw the map of the region, but also set the stage for decades of conflict and turmoil. As the war raged on, its outcome began to shape the future of the Palestinian territories. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War was marked by a series of military campaigns that saw the Israeli forces gradually gain the upper hand. This period saw extensive displacement of Palestinian Arabs, a community that once thrived in the region. Homes were abandoned, villages were left deserted, and a rich cultural tapestry was torn apart as people fled from the escalating violence. The war was a vortex of chaos and tumult, a tempest that swept across the land, leaving a trail of transformation in its wake. Israel emerged as a formidable force, establishing itself firmly within the region and making significant territorial gains. As the dust settled, the contours of a new geopolitical landscape began to emerge. The West Bank, a region rich in history and cultural significance, fell under the control of Jordan. This marked a significant shift in the administration of the area. Jordan's control over the West Bank brought about a new chapter in the region's history, one that was to be marked by a unique blend of cooperation and conflict. Parallelly, the Gaza Strip, a slender strip of land along the Mediterranean coast, came under Egyptian administration. Egypt's management of the Gaza Strip was a complex affair, influenced by regional politics and the broader Arab-Israeli conflict. The administration of the Gaza Strip by Egypt was a significant factor in shaping the region's post-war identity. These changes in territorial control were not just lines on a map. They represented a profound shift in the lives of the people residing in these areas, altering their social fabric, economic prospects, and cultural identities. And so, the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, a conflict that began over territorial disputes, ended up reshaping the very territories it was fought over. The war ended, leaving the Palestinian territories divided and under new administration. The echoes of this conflict continue to resonate, shaping the narratives and realities of the region. The post-war territorial divisions had profound implications for the Palestinian territories. After the dust settled from the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, the geopolitical landscape of the Palestinian territories had shifted dramatically. Jordan assumed control of the West Bank, while Egypt administered the Gaza Strip. This division of the territories between two Arab nations marked a significant departure from the previous unified governance under the British Mandate of Palestine. The change in governance brought about a radical alteration in the political setup of these territories. In the West Bank, Jordan attempted to integrate the region into its state framework, eventually annexing it in 1950. Despite international outcry, only Britain and Pakistan formally recognized this annexation. The Palestinians in the West Bank found themselves now under Jordanian rule, a shift that fundamentally altered their political identity and national aspirations. Meanwhile, the Gaza Strip fell under Egyptian administration. Unlike Jordan, Egypt did not attempt to annex Gaza, but kept it as a separate entity under military rule. The Palestinians in the Gaza Strip faced a different set of challenges under this military administration, leading to a distinct socio-political experience from their West Bank counterparts. The war also triggered a massive refugee crisis. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were displaced from their homes during the war, creating a crisis of unprecedented scale. Many found themselves in refugee camps in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, living under harsh conditions and dependent on international aid. This displacement of the Palestinian population had far-reaching implications, affecting the demographic balance of the region and seeding the roots of resentment and conflict that continue to this day. The socio-political implications of these changes were significant. The division of the Palestinian territories and the establishment of separate administrative entities under Jordan and Egypt fostered a sense of fragmentation among the Palestinian people. This fragmentation was not just territorial, but also political and social. The Palestinians in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip developed distinct political identities and affiliations shaped by their respective experiences under Jordanian and Egyptian rule. Moreover, the refugee crisis fostered a sense of displacement and dispossession among the Palestinians, further fueling their national aspirations. The dream of a unified and independent Palestinian state became an enduring symbol of resistance and struggle against what they perceived as foreign occupation. In conclusion, the post-war territorial divisions had profound and lasting impacts on the Palestinian territories. The changes in governance, the refugee crisis, and the socio-political implications of these changes fundamentally reshaped the landscape of the Palestinian territories. The Palestinians found themselves navigating a new political reality, marked by division, displacement, and the struggle for national identity and independence. These dramatic changes set the stage for the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War was undoubtedly a pivotal event in the history of the Palestinian territories. This conflict, born out of political and territorial disputes, had far-reaching consequences that continue to reverberate today. If we take a step back and look at the events leading up to this war, we can see a complex web of political and territorial tensions. The United Nations had proposed a partition plan, envisioning separate Jewish and Arab states. However, the plan was met with strong opposition from Arab nations. The rejection of this plan set the stage for the outbreak of war in 1948. During the war itself, the Arab coalition and the newly formed State of Israel engaged in intense combat. Despite the coalition's initial numerical superiority, Israel emerged victorious. But the end of the conflict did not bring about an era of peace and stability. Instead, it marked the beginning of a new chapter of territorial divisions and political complexities. In the immediate aftermath of the war, Jordan and Egypt assumed control of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip respectively. The war had displaced a significant number of Palestinians who found themselves living under different administrations. Jordan's annexation of the West Bank and Egypt's administration of the Gaza Strip solidified the post-war territorial divisions in the Palestinian territories. These divisions had a profound impact on the Palestinian territories. The altered geopolitical landscape led to a shift in the dynamics of power and influence. It resulted in a complex and often tense relationship between the Palestinian population and their new administrators. Over time, these relationships have evolved, influenced by numerous factors, including subsequent conflicts, peace treaties, and international interventions. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War is more than a historical event. It's a key piece of the puzzle that helps us understand the intricate dynamics of the Palestinian territories. It serves as a stark reminder of how historical events can shape the course of nations and influence the lives of their people. So, as we delve deeper into the history of the Palestinian territories, we must bear in mind the significance of this war. We must remember that the echoes of the past continue to resonate in the present, shaping the future in ways we may not fully comprehend. Understanding this historical event gives us a clearer picture of the complex dynamics that continue to shape the Palestinian territories today.